It's really a story that has defined me, that has changed me. And what I want to remind you before I even share the story is that we all have a story. My story is no worse or no better than anyone else that's listening to this right now or listening to the recording. We all have a tapestry of stories. We all have dark places we've been to and places that we've had to uncover. And we'll unpack that probably a little bit more in this episode, I'm sure. But, I'll rewind. It was a day like any other, Trevor. It was a day like June 16th of 2022. And I remember I got ready for work the same way I always did. My husband happened to be in Kansas City. My kids had just gotten out of school. We're with a brand new babysitter that day. Slightly overcast type of day. They headed off to the movies. I headed off to work. And I had a coffee meeting that morning, 9 a.m. That should have gone till I was supposed to be back in the office by 10 for a meeting. But I remember emailing my executive assistant at the time saying, hey, listen, can we push off the meeting till 10:15? And I always think it's like sliding doors. If you hadn't made that one step, that one change, how your life could have been a little bit different. Because that day changed my life forever. See, I drove to work. I pulled into the parking space where I had worked for over a decade at the time. I went to go take that last sip of lemon water, checked my emails, and opened my car door, gathered my belongings because, well, I always have my lunch bag and my purse in my bag. And as I turned back, there he was. A man I had never seen before. I quickly asked him, sir, can I help you? Thinking he was lost or he needed something. Because why was he in my parking lot at 10 a.m. on a June day? And before the words even muttered out of my mouth, he punched me so hard in the face. He grabbed me by my hair. He threw me to that asphalt pavement. And I bit, I screamed, I yelled. I tried to do everything in my power to get away from this monster. Because I no longer was a human to him. I felt like a rag doll. No one heard me. No one saw me. There were no cameras on the building. And as I tried with all of my might and all of my effort to crawl away, he came up from underneath me. And he took that large crease of his elbow and he shoved it under my throat. And what seemed like 30 minutes was probably 3 seconds, but it seemed like the longest time of my life. And the thoughts that fluttered through my head, was this the last breath I'd have on earth? Was it the last time I would see my children? Was it the last time I would be a wife to my husband? And he squeezed as hard as he could until I passed out. By the act of someone so much higher than me, I was able to regain consciousness, having no idea where I was, feeling so confused and so just bewildered of just what just actually happened to me. And luckily, I was able to get on my feet. And as I got on my feet, I started running towards that building, not knowing if he had a gun, if he would chase me, what was going to be the consequences by trying to flee the scene. He was sitting in my car trying to start it. And I ran for help, and that bloody murder scream that I gave as soon as I walked in that building. He fled by foot and started burying himself into the marshes close by, the large grasses. And luckily, because of everything that came together, they were able to send the dogs and the drones in and recognize that he was burying himself. See, what you don't know is this man had been in prison for 12 years in New York. I had no idea who he was. He got out prematurely after hurting several prison guards. And on the night of June 15th, he came to Philadelphia and he assaulted 4 women. He then proceeded on the morning of June 16th, before my attack, to rape a woman. And then got back on the bus and got off at the station where I work in a very nice area. But you see, I never thought it was going to happen to me. And so many people say to me, Trevor, I'm so sorry. And I say, I appreciate that. And that's what I would say too. But there's been so much good that has come from such a hard situation.